I said three. And welcome to the Nasboys podcast 100 subscriber special. First of all, before we get started with the actual special idea, we once again just wanted to say thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. We didn't think we'd get this far in about a year and a half, so it's truly blessing and very humbling to see that you guys are supporting the channel like this. And we, like I said, we just appreciate you guys' support, and we hope to continue getting you guys support. Now, I'm sorry this is late. We were all very busy with stuff, but it's not that late, but it's okay. We'll manage. So basically, what we're going to do for today's special is we're going to tell our stories about how we met each other, because some people may know the answer to this, but some people may not know the answer to this. We do not know each other. We have not officially met each other in real life. We are all in different states. I'm in Maryland. Christian goes between North Carolina and South Carolina, and Cam is from Ohio. So we all met online through Instagram and the NASCAR communities. Now, the order of this is I met Christian first, then I met Cam, I believe, and then Cam and Christian met each other somewhere in between. I'm not 100% sure on that. So I'm going to get started with my telling of the story. So when I was trying to go into the NASCAR community, I realized that there were a lot of fan accounts, and I wanted to branch more into that community because I've always been a huge fan of NASCAR since like 10 years ago. And I've tried to find more accounts to, try to make friends with and to talk about NASCAR with. So I started following a bunch of people. And then I found my first diecast series, which was, I believe it was Jimmy_Jam48, who used to be on this show. It was his series, the Ally Cup series. And then through that, I went to another series. And then through that one, I met Christian. Now, when I joined Christian's series, he was still very new to social media. I believe, how old were you, like 17?
Well, I just started college, and I just started making Instagram. The reason why I started Instagram was after the Daytona 500, which I was like, I just started social media, so I was like, why not share my passion for the sport? So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna create a NASCAR account, even create like a little diecast series, the NASCAR Super Cup Series, 7 seasons strong. But that's exactly where I met you, Mike.
Yeah, so I had joined that, and Christian, obviously, he was new to social media, so he didn't really understand all the procedures, and he wanted people to like be active for the series. And I remember this quote very well. It was one of your races, and I had just come back from doing training, and you had started the race, and you were like, "Oh, everybody has to be active," or something like that. And I'm like, "I have to take a shower. Everybody has to take a shower."
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this guy on? I can't be active 24/7.
Exactly.
So anyway, we, needless to say, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but needless to say, me and Christian did not get along at first.
Nope.
There were some arguments. Some were reasonable. Some were very stupid. And one of them was about my friend who I just mentioned earlier. And I had stood up for him because of the activity thing. And I had left Christian's series, and that was a whole mess. So we didn't talk for about 3 months or something like that, almost a year.
Yeah.
So now let's get to the part where I met Cam. So I met Cam in, again, another toy car. This one was very toxic, like very, very, very toxic. It's like one of the reasons why I despise the NASCAR community sometimes. And Cam was introduced through one of his friends, and one of his real life friends, and he had come in the series because of that. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like him that much either, because the head honcho of the series, we're not gonna give his name, but the head honcho was very, very, very toxic. And I was having a lot of problems with him, as were a lot of people. And it was like a back and forth thing. And Cam didn't realize how toxic he actually was. So Cam was like talking with this guy, and he didn't realize that like what exactly we knew. And then one day Cam was like, "Man, you're right. This guy is a bleep." So me and Cam started being friends because of that. And then I joined Cam's series. He made a series called the EA Sports Cup Series, which, by the way, he should bring back. And then Christian was one of his admins in the series, and he had added me to the board chat because he wanted me to be an admin because we were getting really close at this point. And I said to Cam, I'm like, dude, you really want this guy as your admin? And he's like, and Cam's like, bro, trust me, he's cool. I'm like, all right, whatever. I can't complain about it. I can't change your mind. So one day we had like a little conversation, and I had noticed the change in Christian. And then one day, we just made up. We were like, hey man, I'm sorry. And then, hey, I'm sorry too. Do you want to be friends? Yeah, sure. And then I rejoined Christian series, and I'm there to this day as an admin and self-proclaimed heel of the series.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Christian and Cam, do you guys want to talk about how you guys met? I need to hear this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I go first, Christian? Do you mind?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So funny enough, so this is how it started out. I was very new in the NASCAR. You guys know how I got into it. I was later than these guys were by a mile. So I really didn't know much about it. And I was watching for probably a year maybe by this time. So I remember I texted, I'm gonna say his name because I wouldn't have been able to talk with these guys if it wasn't for him. Matt was one of my friends. He's one of my IRL friends. We still talk sometimes. And he had like this series. And I was like, Matt, let me get in that series, man. Let me just see what it's like. Like, I've never been in a diecast series. I don't know anything about this. And I got in, and I remember it was insane. Like, there were so many people. It was like really active, and it was very toxic too. And I remember seeing Mike, which I want to say this now. I'm calling out Mike. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling out Mike. Mike was a jerk to me, and I don't know if it's because he didn't trust me. I think it was partially because I was with I can't say his name, but the leader of that chat, of that series.
Exactly.
Which I didn't really understand. I didn't understand how bad of a person he was, to be fair. And I think I also got judged because I was Matt's friend, and I kind of got labeled as that for a while. So I'm sure people thought differently because, if you guys know Matt, he's a different specimen sometimes, just depends how it comes down to it. And from there I met Mike, and I also met Christian. And, the real way that we all kind of got torn apart a little bit, which they didn't really have problems with me, I'm kind of a hothead, so I have a mouth on me sometimes when I'm mad, which I try not to do that no more. But we had what we called a civil war in the chat, basically. That's what I like to call it, anyways. And because of that, they were on one side and I was on the complete opposite. And I remember one time I texted Mike because I learned how to be civil during that a little bit more. And I texted Mike and I got friends with him. And I said, you know what? I said, show me this, show me that, tell me what's going on. Because I didn't really understand. I was just kind of sticking with someone's side. And from there, I got really close with Mike. And then I remember I randomly texted Christian. This is the funniest part. The way I texted, I remember me and Christian kind of had like a talk, but I knew Christian didn't really trust me. I could tell. I was like, he doesn't really trust me. And we slowly started talking. And then it's like we got on calls for a while. And we got 4-hour call at least once or twice before, where we just talk about NASCAR, life, other stuff. And I got really close with Christian. And we'd bond all the time. And we'd even show memes and stuff. And so from there, I made my series. I made him an admin, and then I saw Mike, and I was like, Mike's a good dude too. I was like, he's, he can kind of be that one that's a little bit more of a hothead that can enforce stuff because, I know sometimes Christian can't be there all the time. Mike can though. So I was like, we'll get Mike in there. And then I remember Mike and Christian telling me about how they don't really mix well. So I remember I put them in a chat. I did this. I should put them in a chat, and I was like, you guys are going to fix out your problems because I want you guys both as friends and admins. And they talked and now they're like best buddies. Credited to me. Sorry guys. Had to say that. Credit to me, Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, so that's how I met them, and we've had a really good friendship, especially for being online. I mean, I trust these
Mhm.
dudes a lot more than I trust a lot of people IRL. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Cam, and yeah, that's definitely. I remember when it all happened. I guess I give my side of the story now, or not side of the story, but basically how I met Cam and Mike. So, when I first like started on Instagram, I honestly just didn't really know how to communicate with people much on there because I first started like social media when it was my first year in college, and I didn't have any experience really with social media because I didn't get a smartphone until I was about 18 years old. So I didn't really know how to act sometimes with group chats, and I was a little immature online when I first joined social media and first created Instagram. And I met Mike through Diecast series, and he had signed up with NSCS in season one. And yeah, I remember definitely I was I kind of made a mistake. And one thing that I didn't realize when I first joined the diecast community is it's toxic. I didn't realize how toxic it is until I started joining some series. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave every series I'm in. I'm just going to focus on mine and grow it. And with mine, after seeing how bad some of the other ones went, I was like, okay, I'm going to have guidelines for mine. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be just. I'm going to have these certain rules and things in place because I don't want to see what happened with some of the other ones. But besides that, with Mike, like at first I was like, I didn't really know what to say much about him because I knew he was a Joey Logano fan. So I was just like, okay, I wonder how Joey fans are like online. And at first I was kind of like, I got a bad impression. I'm just playing. But anyway, so basically, yeah, I kicked Mike for I don't know if I kicked Mike or he left NSCS at first after we had an argument. And
Yeah.
I felt bad about it because it was my fault. And I was inexperienced and I was talking behind his back. And that's something you should never do to
Yeah.
your friends or people you associate with online. You shouldn't just talk behind someone's back. And that was my fault. But yeah, I remember a couple months later, like, I'd met Cam, and Cam shared how we interacted, how we became friends. And I remember, yeah, like I saw Mike again in another group chat. I was like, oh boy, I wonder how this is going to go. Because I didn't know if he was like still mad or if he had a grudge against me or what. I didn't know what was going to happen. So, I ended up apologizing to him and we moved on. And, I feel like that happens even in real life with friends too. There's always going to be things that happen in friendships where you may not agree with everybody or you may have an argument, but we make up and you forgive and move on. And we've definitely us three have become really close, like really close friends, even though we haven't met in real life. And Mike is someone that I could trust with a lot of things, and he helps me a lot with social media. And he also is just such a great friend. I mean, me and Mike, even with Cam, like we FaceTime a lot. We share memes with each other, and yeah, and we've all learned from each other as well. I
Yeah.
mean, we've learned about ourselves. We've learned about like NASCAR and just it's just been a great friendship between us three.
Yeah.
And I will say there has been ups and downs, but we're a strong crew. And yeah, I really, and no homo, I love y'all guys. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I gotta agree, Christian. I mean,
yeah,
both you and Cam said it that he trusts us, you trust us, I trust you guys too. We talk a lot about like different different crap. Like we can talk about like real life stuff. We can talk about NASCAR. I trust these guys. Like I tell them like a lot of stuff about me, like what's going on in my life. I tell them like what we're doing in the NASCAR community, and obviously like we talk about NASCAR and the podcast and all that stuff, and it's definitely a great friendship. I'm amazed that I found such good friends online that in some ways I'm closer to than my real life friends,
Hmm.
and it's just incredible, and I'm really glad and blessed that I met you guys and that we
Mhm.
were able to do this podcast. And I guess I could kind of talk a little bit about how we got the podcast started. So basically, it was kind of my idea to start it, and because I was on this other podcast, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't enjoy it as much because I didn't really feel like I had as much of a say, and the people were a lot younger than me, like really, really younger, and I didn't realize that. And I just left, and I wanted to do my own thing. And I talked to Cam, and I talked to a couple other of our friends, Brandon. I don't know if you guys remember him. Jimmy Jam. I just mentioned him. Spencer. And I
Hmm.
talked to these guys. And first, I went to Brandon because I knew Brandon would want to do it. And I said, "Hey, man, do you want to start this show?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Let's do it." And then I wanted to get Cam and Spencer on mainly because they were my closest friends at that time. And Christian, I was friends with you, but like I for one, you were just so busy, and I didn't know your schedule, and like I wasn't as close with you at the time as like now I am. So I had talked to Cam and Spencer, and both of them said yes, and I was stunned. I was utterly stunned that they both said yes. Just being honest, Cam, because like you're so low key. No offense, but and Spencer's kind of shy.
Yeah,
So,
no, I get
so
that.
so I was very surprised that they had said yes. And we made a chat, and we were doing like like a little like meeting what we were going to talk about on the show and how we were going to act. And I remember, embarrassingly, it took us about 3 months or so to come up with the name. So we had been coming up with like names, like we had basic names like bottom line, grandstand, checkered
I,
flag.
I like to say this. I like to say this. I can't remember who created the name, but I remember I'm the one who made up the logo. I didn't
Yes.
make the logo, but I did make up the logo. And
Yes.
I wish I could figure out what logo I'm talking about, guys. But if you notice, there's kind of a resemblance to, I think it was,
Bojangles.
oh, yeah, but it was like a Bojangles, like Super Subbies type of logo. It was
Yes,
really cool
yes.
looking.
You had a mix of it. I remember that. You said
Yeah,
you wanted a
yep,
mix of the Super Subbies and the
yeah,
Bojangles logo.
yeah.
Yeah, so we came up with Nasboys. I believe I can't remember exactly. I think it's Cam or Spencer. One of them came up with the name. And what I was doing was they had decided that I was going to be the one that like, introduces the podcast. And so I started saying like the names that we came up with. And we liked the way Nasboys sounded because just it was different. It wasn't like a generic name like Bottom Line Podcast. And we were like, okay, you know what? We'll roll with this name. It's great. So we didn't come up with our first episode till about December because we wanted the season to finish. And then Cam couldn't come on for, I believe, the first half of the season because he had some stuff going on. So we respected it.
Yeah.
And he left. And then we got Brandon's friend Ryan, who was on for the first half of the season. And
Hmm.
we did that show. We enjoyed it a lot. And I remember too, Christian wanted to come on as a guest, and we were already preparing to have him on. Believe it or not, we were planning on having a guest, like for every month, but that doesn't work out because everybody's busy, and we run out of ideas sometimes with who we want on the show. So we ran out of ideas, and Christian's like, "Hey, can I come on the show?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have you on April." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And I was actually looking through it because Spencer had messaged me if I had remembered something of his. I can't remember what it was. So I was looking through it and I found our DMs where he showed Christian was there. I'm like, oh crap, that's cool. So yeah, we had done that and we had started the show without Cam and Christian. And then by the time episode 2 happened, I believe Spencer left because I don't want to really get into why he left. It was just his own decision. So we were like, you know what? Let's try to get Christian on. Why not? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it with you guys. And that's why he's here. And then later on in the season, Cam was like, man, I want to come back for an episode. And I'm like, all right, man, we'll get you on an episode. And then we got him on. And then I believe Ryan then left because we had to get Brandon out because of inactivity purposes. And then Cam was like, you know what, can I replace him? I'm like, you know what, sure, let's do it. And that's how we got the gang together, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely how it went. I remember one thing too, I was just like, I was wanting to have like some sort of podcast, like whether it be for my channel or
Yeah.
just join someone's, and because as y'all know, I like to run my mouth, but I like to give a lot of historical facts about NASCAR and share my thoughts as well. And I remember hearing in a group chat about the Nasboys. It wasn't called Nasboys at the time, but I remember hearing about the podcast. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna see maybe if I could come on the feature. And yeah, Mike shared how that went around. But yeah, we've definitely had with the podcast. It started, if I'm correct, it started like towards the end of like 2020.
Yeah,
If I'm
correct.
correct. Yeah, I did.
Correct.
2021 was like when I first started coming on full time, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, and there's been a lot of funny moments too. I'm telling you, we've had a great time doing some of these
Oh, yeah.
episodes. A lot of crazy moments as well, and yeah, y'all think we're crazy on camera. Sometimes we're crazy off camera as well. So it's what it is.
Yeah, that's true. And I remember, Christian, the first episode you had joined, it was, I think, the second or third episode of the entire show. And we had a guest on, the first ever time we had a guest on. And I'll just say it right now, it was bad. I mean, the episode itself, if we had like the quality we have now, but the quality of that episode, like just the way we were all talking and having fun, it would have been one of our best. But the way the quality was and the way it was set up was just, it was bad. There was like a fan, the frames were freezing every second. And Brandon was the one editing these videos. I started editing the summer of 2021. And Brandon was editing it. I was so mad that the video turned out crappy. I'm like, what the are you doing, Brandon? Why is it doing this?
Yeah, it was definitely.
So
yeah, I remember like looking back at like my first episode I was on, and oh my gosh, so bad. I was like cringing out my soul. Like I wanted to like put it on fire, like light it up, like just delete it like 5 times. I was like looking for the delete button. Like, where's it at? Please, like delete this. So bad. But it's also kind of humbling because, you know, I look at what we used to be and how we were so like discoordinated, and, you know, we still have our troubles. Like we still cut in front of each other, but I feel like a lot of times it's just internet issues when we cut in front of each other. You know, sometimes I've noticed that Mike's more delayed than I am, and then Chris is more ahead of me than I am him. So it's kind of that we have that issue. And you know, but you look back in the past though, we used to cut in front of each other. We used to accidentally cuss. We used to bring up stuff we shouldn't have. We used to do this. I mean, like, there were so many mishaps that we had.
Right.
And you know, we have a blooper video in the making. All right.
Another one.
We have another blooper video in the And yes, we're gonna need more time, and we're gonna have more of it coming. But that is something that you guys should always expect yearly. That will be a yearly thing. I hope, no matter, you know, I hope there's nothing like that. It's
freaking July, and we're already thinking of another blooper video.
Yeah, we're gonna have. Listen, we'll have another blooper video at some point. Not anytime soon, probably, but there will be another blooper video.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I remember somebody. Sorry about that, Cam.
No, you're good.
I remember somebody had said that somebody said that we cut in front of each other too much to Cam, and I'm like, have you tried to talk when it's delayed like this? Because sometimes I understand that, you know, I may cut in front of people sometimes. I feel bad about it. Sometimes the problem is, like, I'll be thinking my thought and I'm not realizing Cam's done with his thought. So when I start my thought, he's finishing his, and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. It's just the way that, you know, the internet is, because, you know, how 2-second lag is with that.
Yeah, I will say there definitely has been a huge improvement with our content over the year. I mean, we first started off, the quality, of course, was horrible. We had some technical issues. We still have internet issues every once in a while, as y'all probably saw in the episode we did with Joshua. But yeah, like with the editing, definitely when Mike took over editing, we've installed pictures in. We even do reaction videos now. We've done, of course, we have ideas we've come up with over the past couple months. And yeah, the content's definitely improved. And I mean, as small creators, there's definitely it's going to be improvement and things that always needs to be worked on. And definitely, I've been very happy to see the growth. And yeah, just that's all I have to really say about that part.
Yeah, I agree, Christian. And we got 5 or 6 bonus episodes in the fall that we're working on producing. So stay tuned for that. We got some really, really good ideas coming up.
Heck yeah.
Some generic, some are unique, but I'm sure you're gonna love our content. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Nice.
And my last thing I'm gonna say is, one day we'll meet up with each other. That will happen.
Oh,
There
definitely.
will listen, I promise you guys. It doesn't matter. I'm only 16, I still got some ways before I can get out the house and stuff. I'm like these guys. So one day though, we'll all meet up together and it's gonna be a great vlog because,
Oh, for sure.
I mean, listen, I say this all the time, I don't know about these guys. I'm pretty sure they think the exact same way as me, but when it came to the podcast, it's like, subscribers I like, it feels nice and rewarding for when you do hard work and you try your hardest, but at the same time, I like just doing this podcast for fun. And, I feel like this is how we bond together. Me and the guys, like this is how we bond a lot of times, just doing this
Yeah,
podcast and talking about the sport we love. So, it's always a great thing. But that's all
exactly.
I'm gonna say. What I'm gonna say is thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I hope we have more of these videos to come later on. Hopefully we hit 1K at some point in our life. I don't care if that YouTube algorithm crap, whatever it says, is like, we won't hit that in 2,000 years yet. I don't really care. It's fine.
All right.
Uh,
Christian, any final thoughts?
I can't really think of anything else, but yeah, just I would say thank you to all those supporters that we have and everyone that watched this, and yeah, and even off of YouTube as well, like on Instagram and Facebook, and y'all have been reaching out to me and to let me know, give me feedback as well on the show and everything. Just thank y'all so much, and yeah, we really enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm just so thankful for these boys,
Yep, I'm thankful for you guys too. Thank you guys once again for 100 subscribers. We'll see you guys in the next episode. I guess that's pretty much it. Follow our socials, join the fantasy league, and stay tuned for more content. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.